Defend yourself against DDoS attacks by hiding your true IP address with ExpressVPN, and visit my custom link expressvpn.com/ghilliemaster in the description to find out how you can get an extra 3 months free. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another GTA Online video here on the channel, and today I want to talk about a problem that is becoming more and more annoying as we move forward into next gen, and that is the limit on how many CEOs or MC presidents can be registered in a lobby at once. I'm going to let you guys know why this makes no sense based on how the game is designed, why it's a bigger problem now than it was a few months ago, and also why it's an issue for all types of communities, both PvE and PvP. And then later I'll discuss what a possible solution could be for this problem. So I'm sure you all have experienced this at least once before. You go into a public session and you want to sell your cargo or do any sort of free mode mission. So you go to register as a CEO or MC president and you're met with a message that says the max amount of CEOs and VIPs has been reached in this session. So now you literally can't do anything in that lobby. The only thing you can really do is just walk down the street scratching your ass and then find a new session, which is yet another gamble because you don't know if the next session will also be full of MCs or CEOs. In fact, I know people are annoyed with this issue because I tweeted about this earlier as well as posted a poll on my community tab, and the tweet has over 1,000 likes and 50 replies on it. And on the community tab, from over 14,000 votes, which is a decent sample size, 96% of those 14,000 people said it happens at the very least sometimes, with the majority saying that it happens all the time, so it's not just me that's annoyed by this issue. Now, why is this so annoying exactly? Well, for doing PvE, I kind of already mentioned it, but I will elaborate on it a bit further. The game requires you to be in a public lobby to do sell missions and to even buy supplies, but it also requires you to be in a CEO. Well, if you have to be in a CEO and also in a public lobby, you are forced to take a gamble at these such small CEO spots when you get into that public lobby, and are forced to lobby hop until you find one that has free slots, which is just annoying. You know, people have spent millions of dollars to be able to use their businesses, but they can't use them because there's a limit in place. The game is punishing you for being in a lobby with other players, while at the same time forcing you to be in a lobby with other players to do anything. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And for people who like the PvP, this is also very annoying because in the CEO menu you can spawn BST, which increases your damage and damage resistance. Well, if you're fighting a CEO who has access to that, and you go to register as one to make it a fair fight so you can spawn BST, if the session is maxed out on CEOs, you don't stand a chance against them. You can't register and you can't spawn BST, because having BST is such a massive advantage over someone who does not have it. Now, whether that's a testament to how overpowered BST is rather than the CEO slots, you could argue that as well, but CEOs also have access to Ghost Organization, which is another perk that non-CEOs don't have. Again, even though you paid for an office and all of this shit, to become a CEO, you can't use it because too many players registered first. It's a very stupid design. It's also much more noticeable on next gen because with the addition of the career builder, every single player, no matter what, if they just got the game or a returning player, they're going to be eligible to register as a CEO or MC president. Unlike on last gen, let's say you got into like a 25 player lobby, right? There's a chance that that lobby would contain some new players who don't yet have access to a CEO or MC. Whereas on next gen, you're now competing against every single one of those 25 players just for those 10 slots. At least I think it's 10. It might even be less than that. So only a third of the lobby can be doing their free mode work in a full lobby. Guys, this is yet another case of the game not being upkept properly with each update, and we can realize this by going back and discussing the history of the VIP system and how it moved forward as the game went on. The system was brought into the game back in December of 2015 in the Executives and Other Criminals update, and the only thing that being a VIP gave you access to was the different vehicle spawns and the ability to do things like piracy prevention or any of the other VIP work added in that update. With that 10 VIP cap back then, it wasn't really a big deal because the system was kind of optional. You didn't have to be a CEO, and the best ways to make money weren't locked behind being a VIP. Then the Finance and Felony DLC came out in the summer of 2016, which expanded on that VIP system with the introduction of CEOs. More free mode missions were added. We got the first free mode business with the special cargo sales, which required you to be a CEO to partake in, I might add. But this was the only business that required you to be a CEO at that time, and not that many people were doing crates at once in a lobby, so it was quite rare to find a lobby full of CEOs. But let's pretend there was no limit back then and 30 CEOs started up 30 special crate sales at the same time. That would probably create some issues within the game, which is exactly why they have that cap in place. Albeit I'm sure that would be a very rare issue, and I don't really see that ever happening, but they have to account for it in their design. As time went on, we got the Bikers update with the introduction of the MC presidents, which also runs off of the same cap that CEOs do, and they require you to be an MC president to do MC stuff. Then import-export, more CEO required content. Gun running, more CEO or MC content. Smuggler's Run, more CEO or MC content. Doomsday, more CEO or MC content. Nightclub, more CEO or MC content. You guys are seeing where I'm going with this, right? And then of course we have the casino heist, Kayapriko heist, and the contract all require you to be an MC, president, or CEO to do anything with those. So you can see it started off as not a very big deal since you didn't really get much from being a VIP, but now years later, every single form of content is just shoveled behind this very limited system, and the majority of them require you to also be in a public lobby, competing against other players for the limited number of slots because everyone wants to be doing their business. Whether it's doing one of the heists, whether it's doing nightclub, gun running, smuggler's run, import-export, everyone might be doing something different, but they all require you to be a CEO, and there's such a limited number of slots. At least with the casino, Kayo, and the contract, you can get around this by doing them in an invite-only lobby or a solo session, but everything else, they still require you to be in a public lobby to partake in. So then comes the solutions. I guess a simple one would be to allow sales in invite-only lobbies from all businesses, but then you probably do kind of kill the whole point of playing with others in a multiplayer game, which I don't think is something that players should want. It's kind of an idea of a multiplayer game is to play with other players. You want to encourage that, not discourage it. Unfortunately, the current system does discourage it for PvE players because Kayo can be done without having to ever deal with this issue through a private lobby, which is also another reason why Kayo is so good because not only is it the best way to make money, you also don't have to deal with any of the bullshit in a public session. Plus, just allowing sales in private sessions doesn't really fix the issue. Sure, it would probably lead to you running into the problem less often, but you could still run into lobbies where the CEO limit has been reached because the limit would still be there. What needs to happen is they just need to remove the limit altogether. There are far more than 30 colors they could use for highlighting CEOs and MCs, and maybe the game cannot physically handle 30 separate free mode supply or sell mission scripts running at one time, which is why they had the limit in place to begin with. Well, if that's the case, then don't limit the act of registering, limit the missions themselves. Maybe you go to the computer for a sell mission, and instead of not being able to register to do the mission, maybe it would say, it's too hot to sell right now, or there's too much traffic going on at the moment to sell. That way, at the very least, you can go buy supplies and can still use the perks of being a CEO or MC president. And they already have something like this in place too. When you go to start a VIP or CEO work, if someone is already doing VIP work, it won't let you start it. Why is that same cap not applied to things like sell missions if there are too many going on at once, if the game truly cannot handle that many at once? And let me tell you, this would be a very rare occasion to see that many people doing a sell mission in a lobby at one time where it would not let you sell. Trust me. Because in a lobby, people are CEOs and MCs for different reasons. Some are doing PvE stuff with businesses, some are participating in PvP against other people who are also CEOs, so they're both spamming BST or Ghost organization. And some people, maybe they just want to spawn in their motorcycles fast, so they register as an MC president to do so, or they register as a CEO to spawn in the CEO buzzard. I've seen a lot of comments about this issue about what kind of solutions could be made. For instance, I've seen people say that it should just kick you out of your CEO or MC if you aren't doing free mode work for a certain amount of time. But who is anyone to gatekeep how they use a perk that they spent millions of dollars to be able to use? That's just silly. Because like I said, people are CEOs and MCs for many different reasons. I've also seen people say that joining an invite-only lobby, then registering before you go into a public lobby will guarantee you a spot, which is just not true. If you do get placed into a lobby that already has the max amount of CEOs when you were registered beforehand, it'll just show a message in the top left saying that your privileges have been removed because the lobby already had the max amount of CEOs. Personally, I think the CEO and MC system is just a poor design to begin with. Not being able to do activities without registering through a menu first isn't the best choice in my opinion. But if it's going to stay here and activities are going to continue to be locked behind the system, at the very least it needs to be improved, especially on next gen with the career builder, making it even more accessible to become a CEO right off the bat. Anyways, let me know what you guys think about this. Do you agree with my solution to not lock CEO slots, but instead missions themselves, should they even reach the cap? If you enjoyed the video or found it helpful, feel free to leave a like, as well as subscribe to my channel for more GTA Online content. Hopefully something is done to improve the system. And as always, thanks for watching, and have a great day.